Okay, when I decided I was going to go big with my online business, I made two huge investments that my husband thought was absolutely insane, and I need to tell you about them. The first one was an $18,000, $3,000 a month for 6 months coaching investment. Now, this was a really big deal, okay? Because at this point in my business, I was not consistently making $3,000 a month. It was a little hit or miss, and that was a scary thing to commit to. I mean, honestly, it was. So when I presented this, I said to my husband, okay, I have this thing. I really want to do it. I know that if I make this investment, it is going to pay off hugely in my business, and I need to make the investment. And he was like, well, how do you know it's going to pay off hugely? And which was a logical question. I mean, in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, I get that. I get why you asked that. And so my answer to him was like, I will make sure that I pay that investment back, that I make a payback because I believe in myself and I know that I am going to show up and I'm going to do everything that I need to do in this container to make my money back and then a lot more. And so I sold him on it and he believed in me and I believed in me and I said, "Okay, here's the deal. I will commit that if I haven't made this money back in the 6 months, I will go get a job. Like I will go and I will pay it back a different way if I need to." Which we were both fine with. I knew that there was a 0% chance that was going to have to happen. So I'm going to be just honest with you. And I don't know if it's cocky and I don't know if it's insane for me to say this, but I'm just going to be honest. I knew I wasn't going to go get a like 9 to 5 job. And I had no worries about that. So it pacified him and it made him like, okay. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it. And I did. I did show up differently. I showed up differently with a plan to get exactly what I came for in that coaching container that cost me $18,000. And I made sure that that investment paid for itself. So the transformation here in this scenario came from the transaction. Have you ever heard that phrase before? I think it's really powerful. I'm going to say it again. The transformation came from the transaction. Big, right? Big for you, big for your clients, because your clients are investing big in their health. You are investing big in your business, or certainly I hope that you are, at least to the level that you've invested in your education. That's probably a different a different topic for a different video or podcast episode that I could talk about, but I see this so often where people do not invest in their business. They invest in their education. They want to learn more. They want to learn more. They want to learn the latest greatest testing that they can do and advanced nutrition and health stuff, and they don't put that same attention into investing in their business, which is why I am talking about this today. Okay, because investing in my business made me show up different in my business, as it does. The transformation comes from the transaction. So that is true for me. It's true for you. It's true for your clients. Now, I wanted, but like if I'm going to really dissect this investment and then we're going to go back in time about why I made this investment, I want to be really clear. And I think that it's helpful to kind of have some context here because this will be helpful for you as you make investment decisions. And I'm going to share with you the real way that I coach my clients so that I think about making investments and making them pay for themselves. So, practically speaking, I wanted mindset coaching tools for my business coaching clients. My clients wanted that too, okay? They felt uncomfortable with the mindset coaching of their clients. So I'm coaching holistic nutritionists and health coaches and holistic wellness practitioners to grow their business. And they're coming to me wanting strategy, but I can see that they need mindset coaching. And I'm like, gosh, I don't know that I really have the tools to do this. I'm doing my best, but I feel like if I had a very specific set of tools in my tool belt for mindset coaching, I would be much more prepared to be able to talk to them about this and to coach them through it. And they needed the same thing. So these clients I was working with were telling me, I have clients coming to me and they want to work with me on their nutrition and their health, but I feel ill equipped to help them with the mindset stuff because what they really need is help sticking to it and to staying in belief of themselves when like they're doubting and the consistency and all of the mindset piece that goes with it. So I was like, okay, this is it. This is what their clients need. It's what my clients need. I'm going to go get this information and then I'm going to figure out how to teach it to my clients. So I did that. Now, why do I share that part of the story with you? Because this investment wasn't just something I pulled out of thin air. I wasn't like, I don't know, I think I need something to spend $18,000 on and I'm going to pick this thing. No, there was a reason, okay? There was some tactics, some strategies, some tools that I needed to have that I didn't already have that I was willing to pay to go get because I knew that I would absolutely get what I needed out of that and I would be able to make it into more money or more results or more time. And it doesn't always have to be money. My examples are going to be money, but it doesn't always have to be that way. The return on investment isn't always monetary. A lot of times it's saved time and saved energy and saved inconvenience. Like we pay a lot of money. Think about all areas of your life. We pay to have convenience, to have speed, to have clarity, and to have ease. So it can be any of those things, saving time, saving energy, saving money. Okay. So that's one investment. I told you that there were two where my husband thought I was absolutely insane. So let's get into what the second one was. They were closely, the time frame was close together. So that first one, that 18,000, where there was actually a PowerPoint involved in that one because he was a little cheeky when I said I wanted to do the $18,000 investment. He was like, "I think you should come to me with a PowerPoint," which he thought I would never do. So I was like, "I can make a PowerPoint. All right, let's do it." And that's where I made my proposal that I would go get a job if I had to go repay this investment. Anyway, about 6 months later, that investment had paid back a lot. Okay. So that mindset coaching certification that cost $18,000, which had 6 months of payments for $3,000, but it was actually a 12-month program. That will become important information in a second. I had made those payments. It had more than paid for itself. I was showing up so much differently with the conviction and the belief that I could really coach my clients on their mindset and that I could really help them. So these new tools that I had put in my tool belt were really helpful. And my belief around them was making me a lot of money and it was helping a lot of people. And then I was helping them to help more people. So this is important for you too, right? Let's use that education that you have. If you aren't maximizing the education that you have already purchased, that you already spent the time and the money to get into your brain, if that isn't giving you a return on investment month after month and it's not helping a lot of people like you want it to be, we have to fix that problem. I am here to help you fix that problem, by the way. Okay. So back to my story. About 6 months later, after that initial investment, I had another one that I wanted to make, okay? And this was, that first I told you the transformation comes from the transaction. That first level up from the initial $18,000 transaction where I was like, I'm stepping into somebody who gets what they came for, who makes sure that they always get a return on their investment, always, without doubt, without fail. That person I had become. And so in that identity and through that lens, I had another investment I wanted. It was $25,000 for 6 months. And this was another business coaching investment. And I knew that this was going to be an interesting conversation with my husband, who doesn't even like to go to Fleet Farm, by the way, and like spend money on anything ever. And so I said, "Greg, here's the deal. I have this opportunity and I think we need to talk about it, but I'm just telling you, like, I really want to do this. This isn't like hey, what are you thinking?" I'm like, "I'm strongly considering, let's talk about how to make it work." There's this $25,000 coaching investment. And he burst out laughing. I can remember exactly where we were. I remember everything about this conversation because he actually laughed. He thought I was kidding. He truly could not, in his brain, think of how that could possibly pencil out. He's like, "We don't just have $25,000 laying around. Like, what are you even saying? What's even happening here?" And I felt this conviction so deep in my tips of my toes that investment was going to unlock the path for me to make millions of dollars. I knew that. And the reason I knew that is because I knew that I was going to be a different person. I knew that $25,000 we did not have. It wasn't just like burning a hole in our pocket. Okay. So I knew that there was no way I wasn't going to make that $25,000 back. And once again, I knew I was going to show up as a different person after making that level of investment. And I said, "Listen, I got this. Okay. I am going to make this money back and a lot more. Trust me." I had a good track record. I actually had, 10 or 15 years of business experience before this that I had a good track record of getting what I paid for and for maximizing investment. So he said, "If you really think that that is a good use of our resources, go." But he's like, "But I just would like it to be noted for the record that this is the most outlandish thing I've ever heard." I'm like, "Respectfully noted. Okay, but I'm going to do it." And I did. And guess what? I showed up as a very different person immediately after that transaction. I remember where I was at when I pushed pay, submit payment, whatever it was. I actually had to do it in two different transactions because my credit card limit wasn't even enough to do one transaction of 25,000. So I had to break it up. But that final one where I pushed submit, I was like, I just became a person who so solidly knows that they will get a return on a $25,000 investment within the next 6 months that I'm willing to do that. And that felt so good. So, of course, from that level of belief, not that it was easy, not that it just like happened and just, fell in my lap, but I did. I maximized that investment, every single drop of it. And so as I reflect on that, and I've had so many investments since then, I've had so many things like that where I realize I'm willing to make a bigger investment than I think a lot of people will. And then the dollar amount really doesn't matter here. Okay. But the way that I think about it, I think is really important because of who I believe that I am to maximize those investments. And that's what I want to share with you today. And that's what I want you to really think about as you make investments in your business and as you are talking to potential clients who are then making a big investment with you in their health. Because when you really think about this, if the transformation comes from the transaction, that's really huge, right? This is what it all comes down to, is our belief in ourself and our belief in our ability to maximize that investment. And subconsciously, or sometimes even consciously, but there can be some subconscious messaging that goes on. If you don't believe that for yourself, it'd be hard for you to sell that to your clients. And they can be a victim to this unconscious messaging that you are putting out, which is there's a chance you might not maximize your investment. Or there could be this just like flavor in what you say and what you don't say that reeks of, if we have flavor reeks, we have like mixing all the metaphors here. It could be a version of, and this again, this isn't something you're explicitly saying, but what you are and aren't saying feels like, I don't know if you can really do it. Like, let's see what happens. Or if you don't believe that you are the type of person that always gets what you came for with just like grabbing one thing and running with it, if you think you have to maximize every minute, you have to fully commit for a long length of time and things take a long time, if you believe that for yourself, then you will unconsciously give that belief to your people too in your messaging. And it'll sound like, I'm going to meet with you every single week for 60 minutes every week. And then I'm going to give you a customized plan every single week. And we're going to do this for 6 months together. And you make it seem like this is going to be a huge investment of time for them. And what you're doing is you are trying to justify what you're charging, and you're trying to make it seem like this is going to be so impactful for you. This is going to be worth every penny because I'm giving you so much time. And what they're hearing is, oh, this is going to take a lot of time. This is going to be hard. So see how like the unconscious messaging about how you think about investments and having to squeeze every drop out of every investment and maximize every minute of a coach's time or a program time or whatever that could look like for you. We'll talk about this more in a second. But if that's how you believe that you have to maximize investments, then you will unconsciously or maybe even consciously sell that to your people, that they have to maximize. It's going to be long. It's going to be hard. And that's not what we want. Okay. So like, I'm going to give you like what happened in the story, and then we're going to move ahead into how you actually sell better to your people and how you make better investments for your business. I promise it'll all tie together. Okay. So in the course of me then wanting to invest in the $25,000 program, I was 6 months into the 12-month program that I had invested in, and I had gotten what I needed. I was so complete in that program, even though it was 12 months long and I had only done 6 months of it. I got everything that I needed out of it, and I was ready for more. So I just never did the second half of it. I just never did. And at the time, that didn't seem like a big deal. I was like, I know what I need to do next. And moving forward, I got more than what I needed out of this first 6 months, got exactly what I came for and then some. And I'm ready for the next thing. And I had no thoughts about this whatsoever, that I never completed the second half of the program. But in retrospect and in preparing for even talking about this today, I was like, that is so fascinating, because I know that many people, and maybe even a previous version of me to that time, would have said, I paid for 12 months. I have to be here for 12 months. I have to do everything for 12 months. Like, I have to be a star student, and I paid for it. So I'm definitely going to maximize here. And I didn't do that. I knew that I had already maximized it, and I knew I could move on. And I think that that really set me up for success with future investments, because I didn't feel like I had to, like, I didn't feel like there was a specific way for me to get the value from the investment. And what I mean by that is, like, 12 months to me didn't necessarily mean I have to commit for 12 months. I went into future investments thinking, I'm going to get exactly what I needed. Like, I'm going to grab the nuggets that I need and I'm going to run with them, and I'm for sure going to maximize this investment. But for me, it was never like, okay, got to make sure that I have the next 12 months free exactly, and there's nothing on the calendar that's going to conflict, and it's all perfectly aligned, and the stars and the zodiac and all of it is perfectly positioned for me to start this thing. I didn't feel like that, because I was like, I'm going to get what I came for. Like, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do it. So I did that with the coaching investment, the $25,000 investment, by the way, which I renewed 4 times. So for 2 years, I kept renewing with that coach, spent well over $100,000 with that coach. And you know what is wild? I never got coached by her. Never one single time on any of our live coaching calls. I could have raised my hand for coaching at any point, but I got everything I needed from that program in that container and then some from using all of the other aspects of the program and honestly from the self-concept upgrade that it was for me to invest in it in the first place. And I can see that so clearly in retrospect as I look back. It wasn't clear at the time. I was like, I'm just doing what I'm doing. It's working. And I was just moving forward. But now as I reflect on that, like how interesting that I became the kind of person that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars from a $25,000 investment immediately. Because in that next year, in the 12 months after I made that investment, I had my first $275,000 year in my business. So more than 10x that investment in the following 12 months and then millions of dollars since then. So I think it's so wild to think about that and to think about the fact that I could have just as easily limited myself. I could have just as easily said, I don't know, those live coaching call times are like not ideal for me. Maybe it'll be a little bit less busy 6 months from now, and that would be a better time, and I probably would feel better then, and it's like that, yeah, because we have some vacations coming up, so yeah, 6 months from now would definitely be better. I could have put it off. I could have done that. Many of us do or have clients that say the same thing, like, "This isn't a great time," but what a powerful reframe to think, like, maybe you don't need all the time. Maybe you can just grab one nugget from the coaching or from the program or from the education or from the course or from the membership or from the whatever it is. Maybe that's just like one nugget that makes a complete return on investment for you and for your clients. And that's actually what they're coming for. Okay. So when I never got coached by Stacy, in one of the rumor, the Stacy was the coach that I had hired. And so when I never got coached by her ever, she part of the renewal process was that you had to submit a video and you had to like say why you were renewing and like what had changed for you in the last round of the mastermind. This was mastermind. And so I did my video to like renew and I said, apparently I said something in the video like, I've never actually talked to Stacy, but I love this program. I'm making so much more money. Things are so much simpler for me. I'm like getting everything I came for. I love it. And so that was noteworthy because she called me up on stage at a live event and she said something about it. She's like, I thought it was so interesting that that was your take because that is what I want for everybody. But let's talk about that investment. So this, it gets me thinking about it. These are the seeds that have been planted over the years. This is why I think about these things. All right. So hopefully I have sold you on the fact that there is a different way to think about investments in your business, which isn't, can I maximize all the features? It's like, how do I get results the fastest? What are the results? What is the return on investment for me? Is it saving money? Is it making more money? Is it saving time? Is it saving energy? Is it something being more convenient? Like, what is the actual results that you want? And how can you do it in the least effort possible? Like, what is the most efficient way to do that? A lot of times it's like grabbing one or two things and running with it. It doesn't have to be the entire start to finish process. This is top of mind for me because people tell me this about TPN all the time. They're like, well, how long is it going to take me to go through it? I say, well, what's the goal? What's the goal with going through? Well, if I, like, they'll say something along the lines of like, well, if I'm going to invest in this, I want to make sure that I maximize it. And make sure I maximize the time. I'm like, I come back like, well, what's maximizing it mean? Let's actually define what that is. Well, I want to be signing 4 clients a month consistently. Perfect. Okay, I want to have 10K months. Perfect. Okay, let's get that goal. Now, as you go through each phase of the curriculum, what one nugget do you need to grab here and there to make that come to fruition? How much time is that going to take? Because we've had clients that did it in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, like a lot of them. We also have people that take longer. They take longer to go through the materials. They take longer to take action. Is it because the materials take longer? No. It's because of like how fast are you going to grab what you need and run with it? So that's, I don't know, just like a side example, but I do think it's really pertinent here about making investments for your business in particular. Do you feel like you have to be a star student and do things a certain way? Or do you trust yourself to grab what you need, run with it, and always get what you came for? It's kind of cool, right? Okay, so let's put this in practice for you because like I have said, this has made me a lot of money over the last almost 6 years. And I know that it will make you a lot of money. I also know that it will help you to help a lot more people. If you don't believe that they have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get results. If you believe for them that they could actually grab one nugget from you and get incredible results, that's how you will sell it to them. And that's what you will make possible for them. And then more of your clients will actually have that experience because you're optimizing for it. Like really think about how many people could be orbiting you right now, thinking about this elaborate process that you bring your clients through. And they're kind of thinking about it. And they're like, I do think that's what I need, but I'm not sure. I mean, it sounds like a 3 or 6 month time investment, and it sounds like it's going to be really hard, and it sounds like it's going to be really long. And in reality, like, they need to drink more water, and they need you to help them figure out what to eat and when. Like, like less flour and sugar and more water, and their mind would be blown. And that they could just grab those two things, and you could help them to actually do those two things. I know I'm simplifying here, but this is real, and you know it's real, and I know it's real. And they could be completely transformed. But what you need to do to make that possible is give them a transaction so they can have the transformation. Like, let them put their money where their mouth is, swipe that credit card, and step into a person that actually makes changes and gets exactly what they came for. And then it could be so easy for both of you. Just think about that. Okay, so that's what we are going to kind of reverse engineer here. I call this the One-Nugget Rule. All right. This is meaning you are grabbing that one nugget. I've said this several times. There is one thing, two things, three things, whatever it is, but for sure there's one that if you did it and you had this big takeaway and you just took action and ran with it, you would for sure get your return on investment. This is true in any investment in life, a time investment, a monetary investment, a business investment, whatever it is. So here's the question that I would like you to ask for yourself. When you are pondering an investment, we're going to go specifically for business investments right now. When you're thinking about making an investment in your business, I want you to ask yourself, will I make more money than this costs? This is so basic, but people do not answer this question for themselves. And I know this because I do sales calls with people that are considering purchasing the Profitable Nutritionist program, and they tell me what they charge for clients, or they tell me what they want to be charging for clients, and it is not very much to invest in the program and get that result. So I say, okay, so if you had one client, it would more than pay for the investment in the program. They're like, yes. Like, what do you think the likelihood is that there's one nugget in this program that you could grab over the course of the next 12 months that would get you at least one client? And they're like, probably pretty good. Exactly. So don't think about it like it's a 12-month program. Think about it. It's support for 12 months to get the one nugget that is going to unlock the next stage of growth for you. That's just one example. So that's the question. Will I make more money than this costs? If I grab that one nugget, will I make more money than this costs? Well, then if the answer is yes, then that's a pretty easy yes. Will it help me go faster? Answer that. If it will, it's probably going to also help you make more money than it costs. Will it make things easier? I sure hope the answer is yes in any business investment that you're considering. But if it's a yes to all three of those, it's going to make you more money than it costs. It's going to help you go faster, and it's going to make things easier for you. This should be the biggest no-brainer decision that you've ever made for an investment in your business. But the reason people won't make an investment is they don't trust themselves to grab that one nugget and to take action on it. So that really goes back to the mindset coaching, and it goes way back, call back to the beginning where I was talking about how I wanted to have those mindset tools in my tool belt to help my clients to actually execute, to take action, to follow through, and to evaluate and keep going. So I'm just saying, if you're struggling to actually stick with your decisions and to maximize your investments, it's because you haven't learned how to do it yet. It's a skill. It's the first thing I teach in the TPN program is the mindset of somebody who always gets what they came for and always gets an ROI, return on investment, and shows their clients how to do the same thing. This is like baked into part of the process that I teach in TPN because it is so fundamental for you selling transformation with the clients that you work with. And when you do it this way and you have the same experience for them where you teach them how to get the one nugget and then the second nugget and then the third nugget and how to maximize their investment, you feel so good selling it to them and they feel so supported and so confident in buying. All right. This is where people mess it up though. They think that they need something that doesn't exist, which is the perfect timing myth. The perfect timing doesn't exist. There isn't a perfect time in the future where you are going to have all the bandwidth in the world, where your schedule is going to miraculously be completely empty and it's just going to be ready and the stars are going to perfectly align. It's not going to happen. Your life is going to stay busy. You're going to always have commitments. You're always going to have other things pressing. And so for you and for your clients, it's important to get started now when things are busy. And then you always know how to handle the busy because the busy will keep on coming. You know, this is true for your clients. You want them to get started. You want to help them to find that first nugget to run with because you can do that when they're busy. I'm recording this right now in the holiday season where a lot of people want to just step back from their business and go, you know what? People aren't investing in their health in November and December. They're waiting until January. Terrible, terrible philosophy because, first of all, it's not true. But second of all, it keeps you, if you believe that, from helping the people that do want to start right now. And they're like, it is going to be busy, but I'm always going to have a holiday season every year. And I want to figure this out during the holidays because I'm going to have another holiday next year and I'm going to have another one the next year. And I'm never going to be done having things coming up in my life that make it a little bit difficult. So I want to learn now when I'm in the middle of that and I will always have the skill for it for the rest of my life. How much more empowering is that than, oh yeah, we got to wait till January when things are perfect timing? Because January is not going to be the perfect timing, not for you, not for them. We know this, okay? So that is the thing that doesn't exist, the perfect timing, the schedule that's cleared, the having full attention, the no holidays, no birthdays, no vacations, no graduations, no weddings, nothing that is going to make things hard doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But if you believe that you have to do things a certain way and do things perfectly to maximize an investment, then you'll be always waiting for the perfect timing, and so will your future clients. If you don't think that that's the case, which is why I'm recording this for you right now, because I hope that you don't, if you instead believe that there's just one nugget that you need to grab and it's going to pay for the entire thing and it's going to get you the results that you need and it's going to unlock whatever next level you needed. So you always get what you came for and you always get a return on those investments. If that's what you believe, then you know it doesn't matter what the timing is. You make this agreement with yourself, that transformation comes with the transaction, that you will do it and it's inevitable, which feels so good. Okay. So the perfect timing thing, that's a lie. That's not real. We don't do that. We certainly can't believe that for ourselves, or else we will subconsciously, unconsciously, maybe even sometimes consciously relay that to our clients. And we will believe them when they say, oh, January would be better. And here's why. And you'll be like, yeah, it would be. I get that. Versus, I understand that the temptation is to wait until January, but what if you had the skill set for making this really easy, even when life is so busy? Like, what if we could get you results before January? Would that blow your mind? Yes, it would. That's how you sell it, okay? That's how you want to reframe their expectations. Like, what if I could teach you one thing that would actually get you results before January and we wouldn't even have to wait? Ooh, well, now your belief in that has them stepping up to the next level, right? It's all it's all connected, always connected. It really is a matter of having a resourcefulness mindset for you, and then you will relay this to your clients. And hopefully, I'm doing the same for you because I have this belief in myself. I know that I will maximize the investments that I make, and I know that I'll get what I came for. This is resourcefulness. I'm not saying that every single investment that I've ever made in my business or in my personal life has lived up to what I thought it was going to be. I'm not saying that I only make the best investments. I'm not saying that every single thing I've ever spent money on or time on was exactly, I don't know how I even want to say this, but it was exactly as advertised. Quite the opposite. There are things that I have invested in where I very quickly realized this is not at all what I thought I was going to get, but I'm still going to make this worth my while. I am still going to learn something here. I am still going to get something out of this. And I just refuse to believe that I can't do that. I refuse to believe that anything isn't something I can learn from. I'm sure I could have said that in a better way, but hopefully you're following my thought process there. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn something about what not to invest in the future. I'm going to learn something about how to make better investment choices in the future. I'm going to learn something about myself or usually these go together. I'm going to dig really deep and I'm going to figure out how maybe on the surface I think that this doesn't fit for me, but how does it? And if I really make myself look at any investment I've made and figure out how could I have it maximize this or how can I still maximize this and get what I came for, I can always find a way. Always. So I never blame a coach or a company or a product or a course or anything like that. I never go into it saying like that wasn't worth it or that was a terrible investment. That's just not useful. That is just, there's nothing to be gained from that mindset. I always want to look at how could I have done it better? How could I have made a better choice to begin with? Or how am I resistant to thinking that this does apply to me? And how can I actually get some value here, which tends to be actually the best perspective. So, that, my friend, is the failed investment reframe. There's no such thing as a failed investment, not for you and not for your clients either. So when you realize that this isn't true for you, no investment could actually be a failure because you learned something, you got something out of it, you learned something about yourself, all the things I just said. When you realize that for you, then you, of course, show your clients how that is true for them as well. All right? So good. No investment is ever wasted if you learned from it. Come on. So good. So good. So I want to give you a perfect example that probably applies to you if you are here right now and you are tuning in. This is the social media investment example. Let's talk about it. I can't let a day go by where I don't talk about social media and the huge time suck and life suck that I think it is, but especially for business owners. So many of my clients have spent thousands of dollars and countless hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours on social media trainings and coaching and programs to try to figure out how to grow their business and market their business effectively on social media. Many of them feel like they did not get the results that they expected from those programs, or that the programs didn't deliver, or, fill in the blanks. They have a negative experience with those investments. And some people will look at the Profitable Nutritionist program and they'll look at it through the same lens. And they'll be like, I've invested in my business before and I didn't get the results, so I don't think I want to do it again. Okay, it's one way to look at it. But what is so much more valuable, in my opinion, is realizing that they actually don't want that knowledge. So other people will come to me and they will say, I made an investment in my business. I've actually spent a lot of time and a lot of money on some programs to grow my business, but they were very social media heavy. And the focus was on growing on social media. And what I've learned from that experience is that I don't want to grow my business that way. I really don't want to sell my social media. I don't want to be trying to maximize my kids and my family time and everything I do trying to make an angle to post on Instagram. I don't actually want to do that. It's not the business that I want. And so in that scenario, what they took from the investment was knowing that they don't want to do that. And the way that they do want to run their business is different. Now, do you see how those are two of the same scenarios? One person saying, I made this investment and it didn't work out and I'm just not going to make investments again. Because how can you promise me that that's not going to happen to me? That's not the mentality or the mindset of somebody that always gets what they came for, versus someone who says, I have made some investments in the past in my business, time and money investments that I learned a lot from. And here's what I learned. I want to do something different. Like, that is resourceful. That is empowered. That is the way to always get what you came for. Was it the result that you went into the program thinking you were going to get? Probably not. Is it maybe actually a better outcome in the long term? Huge ROI for you, for your life, for your holistically balanced, healthy life that you want to live? I would argue it is. It is. So in that scenario, the question isn't why didn't this work, or like what was wrong with this investment? It's like, what did I learn from this? How can I take it into the future? Just things to think about, right? Things to think about. So here's another little thing to think about. Here's another way to reframe it. Instead of why didn't this work? What if you asked yourself, why didn't I work? Oh, I'm going there. Always take responsibility. Here's another trait of somebody that always gets what they came for. They take full responsibility. This is another concept I teach right away in the TPN program. In module 1, first thing we learn is how to be somebody that maximizes their investments and always makes their money back and gets what they came for. Well, it's somebody that takes full responsibility. So if you haven't had that experience in the past, ask, why didn't I work? Why didn't I maximize this? Why didn't I follow through? What can I learn about myself through that experience that I can take into making better investments in the future? That really shifts you from victim to, oh, and I'm an empowered business owner. I'm somebody who learns lessons and actually takes them forward so I don't repeat them again. I don't know, just saying, could be a profitable little shift there for you. Because then you, of course, are going to teach that to your clients as well. And if you take radical responsibility for all of the investments you've made and getting a return on them, you will then be able to help show your people where they have made investments in the past in their health and why they didn't get the results from that. If you have people coming to you right now that are saying, like, I've spent so much money, I've spent so much time, I've tried this and this and this and this and this, and none of those things worked for me. And they're just throwing it at you like, so solve my problem. This is your opportunity to help them figure out, why didn't it work? Why didn't you work? Was it really that the process didn't work, or is there something else that happened there that maybe you didn't show up for it? Maybe you didn't actually execute. Let's talk about that. There That's not the way to ask the question, but you can see where I'm going there. Like, there's some digging to be done. Did you maximize all of those things? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about the way that you want to be living, the way that you want to feel healthy, the way that you want to approach this going forward? Because whatever that is probably why they're talking to you at that moment. But you have to be willing to like dig in a little bit. And if you believe for yourself that it's possible that you could just be taken advantage of, then you'll believe that up from other people. Do you see what I'm saying? So model the resourcefulness mindset for your people. Never vilify other practitioners or other programs or other things that they've tried. Stay positive. You don't want to get into that victim-y wallowing with your people ever. Even if it feels like that's how you're going to connect with them, don't do that. Just a little tip for how to talk to people in a sales conversation. Don't ever do that. Stay positive. Show them how far they've come. Show them what they've learned. Keep it positive because that will up level their experience with you. Maybe they will become a client, maybe they won't, but the ones that do will already have that standard set for what it looks like to be resourceful and take responsibility. Even if you haven't called it that, and even if you haven't actually taught it to them, you've modeled it, right? So, as part of the sales experience, just always do that. Everything that they've tried, everything you've tried, everything that I've tried, it always leads us to the moment where we can make a better decision in the future. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to help people do, right? Get better results, get return on their investment. And you're watching this because you want to get better return on yours. So it all connects. Let's land this plane by just recapping what some of the questions are that you can ask yourself if you are in a situation where you're thinking about making an investment and you want to make this agreement with yourself that you're going to get what you came for. Here's how you're going to maximize that one-nugget rule. First of all, one, will I make more money than this costs? For a business investment, the answer better be yes. Will it help me go faster? And will it make things easier? Really dig into how will you make sure that all three of those things are true? How will you be the person at the end of this transaction that gets that transformation, that makes more money than it costs, that goes faster, and that lets things be easier? Because when it is a yes to all three, that should be a no-brainer decision for you. And then, of course, how are you going to create that experience for your clients? For them, it might not make them more money, but it better save them time, better save them energy, better save them confusion, better save them from other investments that they're going to be making. That's always true, but you have to get your brain there first and you have to show people how they are going to get exactly what they came for. And it doesn't have to be that they're going to sit with you for an hour a week for the next 6 months. It could be that they grab that one nugget and you help them run with it. Always paint that possibility that it might actually not take as long as they think it's going to. It might actually be quite a bit easier. It might actually be a lot simpler. And when you do that, when you frame it that way, they will come into the transaction with the expectation that there's somebody that can get what they came for and make it easy. That's beautiful. And also, you will optimize your processes for that. Okay, so I am going to end with a little call to action for you. Okay, if you want to make better investment decisions and you want to be an example of the transaction being the transformation where you become a totally different business owner immediately, I want you to strongly consider joining the Profitable Nutritionist program. Okay, my friend, that is exactly what we do in TPN. I know I've already said this, but I'm going to make it very clear. I teach mindset shifts in the program, along with the strategies that we give you, which are proven strategies for signing clients, making a lot more money, helping a lot more people without relying on social media. And we do it in very little time, by the way, super efficient, this process. If you want to learn how to do that, it's going to be strategy, but it's going to be a lot of mindset. It's going to be you being willing to grab a nugget that you need and run with it and not try to be a perfect student that comes to every single call and that does every single thing in your workbook by day 3 or whatever it is in your mind that's like, this is how I have to maximize the investment. And I say that verbiage because people tell me this all the time. They're like, I don't want to start the program until I know I can really maximize the investment. I'm like, no. Decide you're going to maximize the investment whenever you start. It's just a decision. Okay, there's not a set of circumstances that allows you to maximize it. It's a decision that you make to maximize your investment. Always. And you are going to teach this to your clients too. So if you want these tools, if you want to get solid on this, if you want more of the mindset coaching to be able to bring your clients through this exact process as well, we have sales call frameworks, how to execute a sales call so it sets up this exact dynamic in a sales conversation. What is the marketing that perfectly bleeds into that sales conversation that then brings in your easiest client, so that every step of the way it's all congruent. All roads lead to Rome, to you having really happy clients that do get what they came for, that grab their one nugget and they run with it, and they send all of the referrals your way. If you want the mindset tools to do that, along with the strategy, that's what we do in TPN. And I want you to start it today, okay? If you are feeling that little like, oh, I think that this really could help me, it could help you. If you decide that it will, if you decide to let the transformation come from the transaction, jump in, get your nuggets, and start running with them, it absolutely will. I not only am I very confident in that, because if you're still watching or listening to this, then clearly you are somebody who wants to have that transformation, but also because we've had over 700 people go through the program. I have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials on the TPN website, which we will link below in the description of this as well for you if you want to go look at that. Or you can go to theprofitablenutritionist.com/testimonials and read through those for yourself. We have a lot of evidence that this process works, and I know it works even better for somebody who is willing to get in imperfectly, even when things are busy and the stars don't align, and they trust themselves to grab their nugget and run with it. Okay, so that is what I would encourage you to do. Of course, if you have questions on what is included in the program, what does this all look like, go to theprofitablenutritionist.com/join. Again, that will be linked up in the description as well. Theprofitablenutritionist.com/join, which has all of the program details, although you don't need all of the details because you know that there are nuggets in there you're going to grab. And there's even a link for us to do a short call together to talk through your situation if you would like to do that first. But know that enrollment is open. You can start right now and you can get in there and start getting your nuggets. I would love to help you out. Knowing how to maximize your own investments is only half the equation, as you now know. There is a way for you to position your offer and what you're actually selling to people that is going to naturally repel people that are the perfect timing people that are waiting for the perfect time. It's going to repel those and magnetize the clients that are ready to start and invest immediately. Okay, so I want you to watch this video next if you are curious on how to do that, where I break down how to just attract those magnetic clients who pay fast, they don't waste time, they want to get started immediately, because those decisive clients are always going to be your best success stories.